What's up, YouTube? This is politically incorrect. So this is coincidental, a little ironic. Yesterday I did a video talking about the governor's race, the current governor's race in Virginia, which is between Democrat and former Governor Terry McAuliffe and Republican challenger Glenn Youngkin. It's a very close race, as we all know. If you had to put my, if you had to put a gun to my head, I would say that I think Glenn Youngkin might be able to pull it off, but we don't know. Um, but I mentioned when I was going through the history of governors and political party strength in Virginia as far as governorship, I mentioned that Linwood Holton was the first elected Republican governor of the state of Virginia. He served from 1970 to 1974. And I remember after doing the video, I said to myself, I think Linwood Holton's still alive. So I looked it up, and it said that he was. He was 98 years old. But little did I know that he actually had passed away yesterday morning, and the news would break a couple hours later that Linwood Holton, the 61st governor of Virginia, the first elected Republican governor of Virginia, passed away. And I want to talk about him because uh, people can get the wrong impression when they hear first Republican governor, right? So they think, oh yeah, he's a racist bastard. But as I've told people time and time again, the Republican Party of the past was totally different from the Republican Party of today. Now, even though at that particular time Richard Nixon had used the Southern strategy on a national level to court Dixiecrats and racist voters of the South who were previously voting majority overwhelmingly Democratic, there were still very prominent moderate and liberal wings in the Republican Party. The liberal Republicans would be people like, say, John Lindsay, Jacob Javits. Moderates to liberals would be guys like, Nelson Rockefeller. And on a local level, state level, Linwood Holton, who had been a prominent leader in the Republican Party in the state of Virginia, back when the Republican Party was not really much of a power in Virginia. He ran for governor for the first time in 1965, but he lost to Mills Godwin, who was at the time a Democrat. He would run again in 1969 and win 52% of the vote. All right, that could have been something of a backlash to Nixon being elected in 1968. Nixon got a majority of the vote in Virginia, I believe, or at least a plurality. I think a plurality. But Linwood Holton was a moderate Republican who detested systemic racism, right? And as governor, he came into power back when massive resistance was in full effect in the South, which was the term used for Southern leaders and Southerners who were doing everything they can to resist the advancements being made with civil rights. So the big hot button issue at the time was public busing as far as schools. So Linwood Holton was adamant about the desegregation of schools and to a certain extent of society. And he made a public gesture to show that he wasn't just talking. He made sure that his children at this time enrolled in Richmond public schools, which at the time were majority black. Most governors, most people who are power of that nature, their children tend to go to private schools, which are overwhelmingly, of course, white and elitist. Linwood Holton also was very big in making sure that there were more women and minority representation when it came to state government and state jobs. He was also an environmental governor, and he was also the first Virginia governor to issue any state funds toward helping those with mental health issues. So he was a very progressive governor, not the governor of today that you would associate with the Republican Party. The problem with Linwood Holton is that the Republican Party itself was moving to the right, lurching to the right, and moving away from a guy like Linwood Holt. By 1974, his power, his influence in his own party was beginning to wane. And Virginia law bars governors from running for reelection directly. So Mills Godwin, who served from governor from 1966 to 1970, ran for governor again, but this time Mills Godwin, who was a racist, okay, ran as a Republican because the party was changing. The party was becoming more conservative, and they were courting many former uh, Dixiecrats as the National Democratic Party was becoming more dominated by the left wing liberals. So we were seeing this gradual changing of the parties take place. This was gradual. It didn't happen all at once. You still had moderate and liberal Republicans and and conservative Democrats all the way up until the turn of the century. But it was a gradual change that happened on the national stage and then toward the local levels. That were the last links of the old ways. But Linwood Holton would go on and serve in the Nixon administration briefly. Um, he would uh, campaign, and I believe he tried to run for U.S. Senate, but he lost in the primaries. But he would, in his retirement, he would support many moderate Republicans like John Warner, who I believe passed away this year as well. But as the Republican Party lurched even more toward the right by the 1990s, he began to support Democratic candidates. Famously, he supported Barack Obama in 2008 and 2012 and Hillary Clinton in 2016. Now, I don't know if he was active last year. He might have been in failing health over the last couple of years. Uh, Something else I wanted to say about him. Yeah. Obviously, I forgot about this. Um, Tim Kaine, the current United States Senator and former governor himself, is the son-in-law or was the son-in-law of Linwood Holt. And I just wanted to bring that up. So rest in peace, Linwood Holton. You know what I'm saying? He was on the right side of history, and he'll be remembered for being a champion for equality.